I love the look of rustic antique furniture, especially the handmade, hand-hewn kind. The time and effort it took to build this, I can really appreciate that. But the cost to buy it, it's outrageous. And trying to find one that's the right size can be almost impossible. So I like to make my own, except I use modern tools. With just a little cost and a little effort, you can make a board like this look like this. And today I'm going to show you the best process that I've found to do that. And then I'm going to show you how I built a small nightstand or end table with these exact techniques. So let's get started. The first thing we have to take care of is choosing the wood. Now, I like to use number 2 white pine. It's easy to find, it's simple to work with, and it looks great when it's finished. Where I live, if I need larger pieces, the stores normally carry southern yellow pine, but whatever you decide to use, the softer woods are much easier to work with. And you can use hardwoods like oak and hickory, but they take a lot more work to make them look hand-hewn. Now for this project, I'm using 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x10s, and even a cedar fence picket. The next thing I do is I always distress it before I cut it. The reason I like to distress or weather the boards before cutting them to size is because it's easier to handle a full board, and later I can choose the areas I like best, in case there's one area that didn't quite turn out the way I like it. Then I screw them down to a board and I clamp that board down to a table so it doesn't move. It makes it much safer. And remember, don't forget to distress the sides of the board and the ends of the board if that part's going to be showing in a project you're building. In order to make the wood look authentic, I studied a lot of real hand-hewn wood to see the patterns that they used years ago to make it. The nice thing is there's many different ways they use to make the hand-hewn wood, so you don't have to worry about making mistakes. If you look at these original logs, you'll notice a pattern in most of them. There's 6 things that I like to do to wood to make it look original or rustic, and they are: 1, large chunks are missing. Number 2 is there's chop marks that were made with an axe. And number 3, the grain looks weathered, like it's been outside for a long time. Number 4, you always see nicks and bangs in it. Number 5, often there's cracks because of the age of the wood. Number 6, you'll notice wormholes oftentimes in the wood. And 7, you don't see sharp edges. That makes it look old and weathered. So this is the process that I found to give the best results. And I do these in this order. Step number 1, planing the wood. I start by removing chunks of wood with an electric hand plane. I set it to the deepest setting to take out as much wood as possible. I hand plane, cutting chunks in a V pattern. I cut to the left, then to the right, then to the left and right, and so on. Step number 2 is making cut marks with an axe or a hatchet. After I do the planing, I use a small axe, or you can use a hatchet, to make cut marks. Now make sure the blade is really sharp and it'll do a better job. I chop at a sharp angle and then I pull up to remove some of the wood. Then I put the axe almost flat on the board and knock off most of the loose pieces of the wood that are sticking up. Now step number 3 is weathering the grain. I use a wire wheel on a drill or a grinder running with the grain. This removes the softer wood and leaves the surface looking well aged. Step number 4 is add wormholes. For wormholes, I take a scrap board with screws sticking out and I hammer it into the surface. Wormholes look the best when they're in clusters and not in a perfect row. So just kind of find areas, hammer them down, wiggle it around a little bit and pull them out. Step 5 is torching and sanding. Next, I like to burn the surface with a torch. Now, this makes the grain pop, it shows a lot of contrast, and it burns off a lot of the little splinters. If it looks like it burns a little too much, don't worry about that. A light sanding will smooth it out and give it a well-worn look. And make sure that you sand all sharp edges because the wood has to look worn. So make sure you can rub your hand over it without getting splinters. Now, step 6 is staining. The color that you stain is your choice. I used an oil base golden oak stain and an oil base early American stain. And if you want it a lot darker, you can use like a dark walnut, but using a darker stain, the problem with that is it doesn't give as much contrast. So take some scrap wood and test it to see if it's the color you like. On these pieces, I used a wax to put the finish coat because it makes it look a little more authentic than what polyurethane would look like. Now I'm going to show you a small nightstand that I made with a drawer using these exact methods, and we'll compare it to a similar nightstand that's not distressed or weathered or rustic looking. I decided to add a drawer on this nightstand just by using simple wooden slides. They're fast, they're inexpensive, and with some candle wax they slide smoothly. And I extended the slides so the drawer will pull out further. Now you lose a little space when you do that, but it's more accessible. Now here's a comparison of a normal pine built nightstand next to the one that I made look rustic. And there you have it. Brand new pine made to look rustic and hand hewn. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on antiques to get that old world charm. If this video helped you, hit that thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps to support the channel. And check out the description below for links to products that I use or recommend. And don't forget to check out my other videos. I'll put a link in the corner right up here. It might be just the video you need for the project that you're working on or you're getting ready to work on. And also, remember to share the videos so they can help others save time and money making home repairs yourself. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.